So, you're here because you want to know if it's worth the hefty price tag of $350 US. I'll present to you my experience so you can draw your own conclusions. I will talk about the pros and cons, and I will tell you my opinion in the end, so stick around.
Let's begin with the pros.
Design. No gamery look, it's one of the first things that draws you towards it. It's sleek, minimalist, and doesn't scream gamer, which is exactly what I like about it. This is the type of headset you can walk in with in the street, travel with, or even use at work without anyone knowing it's built for gamers. Additionally, it just looks a lot smaller than most of the gaming headsets, and a lot sleeker in my opinion, which is very appealing. Most headsets seems too big for my liking. I really like the Razer Nari, but after trying it, it just seems a little too big. I also love the fact that you can hide the mic away. It just completes the stealth look. Two connections at once. Now I'm not talking about the ability to connect to your PC for gaming and your phone for music, which you can do by the way. I'm talking about connecting with two devices, not at the same time, like my desktop and laptop. This one is particularly important for me, as I sometimes use both of them for streaming, so I have the ability to switch between the two devices. It's super convenient as I don't have to mess around with additional KVM switches and USB hubs. Sound quality. Coming from a 50mm to 40mm, I didn't notice any difference. They get loud enough and the bass is great and the sound is clear. Base station. Now I'm gonna say it. It's not a gimmick. It's very useful. One glance and you know exactly where you're at in terms of volume level. This can be really helpful if you're a streamer, as you don't need to switch to the software to know your volume level. I placed it right next to my mouse, so adjusting the volume is very convenient. But then hey, maybe it's just me, as I seem to have an obsession with volume adjustments. I have about 4 different methods of adjusting volume. Keyboard, macro keyboard, the Logitech puck that comes with the speakers, and then the base station. ANC, or active noise cancellation. It's not Sony MX or Bose, but it does the job. Having seen some reviews prior to buying it, I was not expecting it to be any good, but it was. You'll know it works because it gives you that slight pressure on your eardrums. Speaking of pressure, I have not experienced the issue that some complain about,
where the ANC components digs into your ears.
Even after a long time of using it and the Earpads shrinking a bit, no issues whatsoever. Latency. Now this is pretty subjective. For my use, I have not experienced any latency. But remember, I use it mainly for media consumption and streaming and editing, so I can't say much about gaming. Even when I play games, it's some very old soundless games that nobody's ever heard of, which is where most of the latency issues takes place. Loud enough. Yes, it is loud enough. Not the loudest I have ever tried, but loud enough that if you take it to the gym, I would not have to worry about the music being played at the gym and play my own without getting frustrated. Also, you have the ability to get about 10% extra volume by using the Sonar software. Wireless. My previous headset was a Logitech G Pro wired version, which is a fantastic headset. However, it was always limiting me whenever I wanted to grab a drink or my phone or just go to the other room. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually very noticeable. A good piece of technology is supposed to make your life easier and seamless, and a wired headset just doesn't cut it for me. The Nova Pro provides the sound quality needed and keep me free to jump off my seat whenever I need. price and used market. Now, although this was released almost a year and a half ago, the price has not dropped, which tells you that it's very much in demand and holding up well and doing well in the market. Why else would the manufacturer not drop the price if it's not doing well? Even in the used market, the cheapest ones are going for about $100, and they're missing accessories like the base station or covers, or in a bad condition. Otherwise, you can get one for about 200 plus for one that's used. The mic mute light and the ability to retract and hide it. Not the mic itself, as it's mediocre at best, but the mic mute light and retractability. There's something satisfying about the feedback of a light and the ability to tuck the mic away when not in use. As far as I know, not that many headsets has these two features together. This is what the mic sounds like. I told you. Now let's talk about the cons. The Earpads. Now as you can see here, it didn't age well. You can clearly see where the pressure points are. This is not my experience with the Logitech G Pro X. I have used it for much longer and never really had that experience. Also, changing the Earpads is not a very straightforward process, as you can risk breaking the headset if you put too much force on it, and it will probably take you about 15 minutes to change it. I would recommend a pair from Wicked Cushions, as they seem to have the best quality, and fix the noise cancelling bulge digging into your ear issue, as they have quite a bit of thickness to them compared to the original. Side magnetic covers. Although they look sleek in my opinion, they're very easy to lose when you're outdoor. Not that they would just fall off on their own, but in order to charge the headset, you need to take the cover off and keep it off while charging. Which is why, by the way, I ended up losing one of mine. Now you can actually buy a magnetic side cover from the SteelSeries website, but they don't offer the original silver color and have to resort to not so trusty websites such as eBay and AliExpress. The one in AliExpress does claim to be original, but there are no ratings, so I can't really judge it. Although this does not affect the functionality, it messes up the look, which is a bummer. Pricey accessories. Speaking of accessories, they're not cheap, nor readily available, as I have seen in some other headsets brands. I'm not saying they're super expensive, but when you are spending that much money on a headset, man oh man, you would hate to spend additional money to buy accessories. Connectivity range. In comparison to the Airpods, which I use almost always, I was expecting a better range. The moment I leave my room and I'm separated from the base station with a wall, the stutter starts. Few meters forward and you're at that point losing the connection altogether, which the Airpods manages to do despite their smaller size.
It's not a deal breaker as I mostly use them next to my PC, but it's something to be aware of.
Conclusion. Now I would say it's absolutely worth the money. It held up quite well and it satisfied all my needs. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Essentially, it paid for itself during the period I had it. I was pleasantly surprised by the ANC. Before buying it, I watched some reviews and they didn't speak particularly well about the ANC. But then, this is where your personal experience comes in place. I found them to be on point. Noise cancelling, in my opinion, is not meant to cancel the noise completely, but rather reduce it. And the Nova Pro does just that. I think people forget that this is a new feature in a gaming headset, and it's not supposed to be competing yet with the Sony and Bose headsets. The plastic build, although might feel cheaper for some, It provides the all-day comfort as they don't weigh you down and without compromising the build quality and design. I have left out some features as I only included the one I found to be useful, such as the ability to cancel the noise around your mic, spatial audio, and infinite battery.
Speaking about batteries, I've not had any issues with them and they've held up quite well. They are easily accessible and doesn't need to be pried open to replace the battery. It's also nice to have an additional unit in case one goes bad.
So there you have it, the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless, arguably the best gaming headset in the market.
If you had one, let me know what your experience is. And if you have any questions, post them down below and I'll try to answer them as much as I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.